I would like you all to imagine a hypothetical situation about a girl. When the girl is 6, she dreams of becoming an astronaut. She spends hours reading everything she can find about outer space, and one day she reads a story about Sally Ride, the first American woman to enter space. Suddenly, her dreams become attainable, and she can see herself commanding a rocket ship. Prior to that exposure, she had thought that only men could be astronauts. Naturally, as a 6-year-old girl, she really wants to own something with Sally Ride's face on it. You know, like a lunchbox or a toy or something. But her parents can't find her anything. They get her a Neil Armstrong t-shirt, but she just can't relate to Neil the same way. And a few months later, she gives up on her big dream, believing that she just doesn't have what it takes to become an astronaut. Still, she's lucky. Most girls don't even get a chance to engage with math or science, because math and science toys almost never end up in the girls' toy aisle. When she is 7, she is told that she's pretty good for a girl, and she understands that doing something like a girl is an insult. When she's 8, she cries to her mom, begging her to buy Abercrombie, of all things, just so that way she can fit in. She begins to wonder if she is considered hot or not. And by the time she's 9, she can't pay attention in class. She's just too embarrassed by the way her untoned thighs look when she sits down at her desk. So ashamed of her body, at age 9, she tries to sit in class while holding her thighs, sucking in her stomach, and covering up her chest. It's no wonder why she can't pay attention in math class. When she's 10, she has started to engage in dieting behavior, despite the fact that she is at a medically considered healthy weight. But she's not alone. A 2014 survey reports that by age 10, 80% of 10-year-olds have been on a diet. When she's 11, she has 4 Taylor Swift posters hanging in her bedroom. And every once in a while, she quite literally compares every single part of her face to Taylor's and tries to figure out what she can do to attain Taylor Swift's nose. Unfortunately, the posters that she was looking at were completely photoshopped, and she never even had a chance to begin with. Once again, she's not alone. A Today Show and AOL.com survey report that 80% of teen girls compare themselves to images they see of celebrities, and half of them admit that those images make them feel dissatisfied with the way they look. When she's 12, she has a conversation with a boy. She's in 7th grade, he's in 6th grade, and she's curious as to what she can do to get boys to like her, being that she's feeling a lot of pressure as a 12-year-old girl. And so when she asks him, he looks at her, shrugs his shoulders, and motions to her chest, saying, "Well, they could be a little bigger." At age 12, she was reminded once again that in order to be liked, she needed to change her body. When she's 13, she stumbles across glamorized photos for the first time on a social media site. There are pictures that make starving yourself and self-harming seem attractive, even desirable, and she starts to believe that self-destruction is, in fact, beautiful. When she's 14, she feels insecure and is threatened by other girls. So she competes with them for everything: the best body, the best boyfriend, everything. She tears other girls down because she doesn't realize that she doesn't have to compete. The other girls could be her strongest allies against the beauty standard. And when she's 15, her self-harm addiction reaches an all-time high. She is self-harming several times a day, and when she has to change into her gym clothing for gym class, she changes alone because she doesn't want anyone to notice the array of marks on her upper thighs. When she's 16, she is called a slut. She is curvy and growing and is sent down to the office for dress code, despite the fact that her skinny friend is wearing the exact same thing. Boys and girls are mean to her. They call her a slut and a whore, and she starts to wonder if maybe they're right. maybe she really is a whore and she really doesn't deserve any respect. And when she's 17, her eating disorder spirals. First, she binge eats and is overweight. She's called fat, disgusting, and is taunted so badly that she starves herself. But then she's called anorexic, a skeleton, a ghost, and she's constantly told to eat something. Statistics vary, but the National Eating Disorders Association reports that in the United States, 20 million females will at some point in their lifetime struggle from an eating disorder. And by the time she is 18, she has 4 friends who have been raped, 2 friends who have been in abusive relationships, and many more that have been sexually harassed. She's only in high school. And she's going off to college next year, and she's scared for not only for herself, but for her younger sisters as well, because the odds are not in her favor. After all, according to the National Institute of Justice and the CDC, 1 out of every 6 American women will be the victim of an attempted or completed rape. As you can probably guess at this point, this isn't a hypothetical situation, though I certainly wish it was. Unfortunately, this is a very real reality for thousands of females across America and around the world. This hypothetical girl encompasses so many of the experience that I, my friends, and women that have spoken to me have shared. Gendered expectations are taking a serious toll on teenage girls, and we are failing to live up to our full potentials because things like eating disorders, self-harm, body dissatisfaction, and so much more are holding us back. Of course, everyone faces problems because of the media, and I would like to make it very clear that boys do face problems because of gendered expectations. However, I am a female, and it is not right for me to speak on behalf of boys, so today's talk will just be on the way that females are affected by the media. My name is Ashley Olafsen, I am 18 years old, and today I'm going to talk to you all about how diversity in the media can, maybe not completely solve, but begin to solve so many of the problems that teenage girls are facing today. Here's the problem with media right now. Instead of combating dangerous gendered expectations, a majority of the media is strongly perpetuating and reinforcing them, and arguably, to an extent, even causing them. Media matters because it's something that influences a person's thoughts, behaviors, actions, body image, and self-esteem. And media is an incredibly present influence. Teenagers, myself included, according to a Kaiser Family Foundation study, spend on average 7.5 hours of media a day. And we consume a lot more than just media. We're consuming messages too. Furthermore, research shows that our teenage brains are still growing. So what we're learning today really does matter because it's setting the foundation for a long time out. And because we spend so much time consuming media, and because media has so much of an impact on us, it is important that the media we consume is empowering. That being stated, I am going to focus on 3 main areas of the media we need diversity in. However, it is not limited to just these 3. Today's 3 are maybe just a starting point. That being stated, in the media, we need gender diversity, body diversity, and character diversity. If we hope to avoid the situation that so many females are currently going through today, like how I mentioned in my hypothetical situation, we need to change our media, and we need to include these 3, at the very least, kinds of diversity. So the first kind of diversity that we need is body diversity. On May 16th, 2013, I gave my first ever self-confidence workshop. I had just turned 16 years old, and I had spent the past 5 months creating a 3-hour workshop for 8th grade girls. During the workshop, 3 of my best friends and I shared our personal experiences with body image, popularity, media, and so much more. We watched videos and had a small group discussion. It was an outstandingly powerful experience, yet 2 years later, there is still something that stands out to me. during the workshop, we do an activity called Cross the Line. This is a picture of Cross the Line from Uxbridge, Massachusetts, where I spoke 2 weeks ago. And basically, during Cross the Line, statements are read out, and if the statement applies to a girl, she would take a step forward and cross the line. And then, once everyone sees, they take a step back, and the next statement is read out loud. So my best friend Emma Nygrosh, who I was doing the workshop with, read out the statement, "Cross the line if you've ever thought that you weren't pretty enough to do something." And I was expecting, honestly, maybe 3 or 4 of the 30 8th grade girls that were there to cross. But what happened next was every single girl in the entire room, including the girls that I was doing the workshop with, crossed the line. Every single girl thought that she wasn't pretty enough to do something, thought that her appearance restricted her capability as a person. This was a pivotal moment in my life, and I felt both shocked and horrified by the response. Since then, I have given 13 self-confidence empowerment workshops to 7th to 8th grade girls all over Massachusetts, and I am sorry to report that the result is nearly the same every single time. Girls feel limited by their appearance, and perhaps it's because the media has convinced us that in order to be liked, we need to be a very, very specific type of beautiful. In fact, our ideal beauty standard is so dangerously specific that the body type portrayed as the ideal in media is only naturally possessed by 5% of American females. The first kind of diversity we need is body diversity, and this one really shouldn't come as a surprise. In addition to the absolutely beautiful ideal body shape we have right now, girls need to see other body shapes because girls need to know that what they have right now is okay. Until we make this change to body diversity, girls are going to continue to sacrifice studying for dieting. The second kind of diversity we need in the media is gender diversity. And this one really isn't something that you notice until you start to actually think about it. In 1946, men outnumbered women 3 to 1 in family films, a pretty big gender disproportion. However, C. Jane reports that that number is actually the same as it was in 1946. And this isn't just one random stat where women are underrepresented. There are so many. Misrepresentation reports that women are only 20% of news articles, despite being over half of the population. And in 2011, women were only 11% of movie protagonists. The fact that females are so deeply underrepresented is a legitimate problem because we spend nearly a third of our day consuming media. If we didn't watch media, this wouldn't be a problem. But currently, the underrepresentation reinforces the idea to both males and females that males are more powerful, more important, and more worthy of being seen and having their stories told. This message of power creates a very false sense of overimportance for boys and an equally false sense of unimportance for girls. At a time when females are less likely to speak up in both the classroom and in the workplace, we really should not be pushing such skewed, gendered, powered relations. Both boys and girls need to see women shown in the media because girls need to know that their stories are worth being told too, and they need to know that they can be in control of their own narrative. And the third kind of diversity that I'm going to focus on is character diversity. And this one might be the most important. Right now, when women are shown, we are almost always portrayed as an over-sexualized object. One of the top 2014 songs was Wiggle by Jason Derulo. How many of you guys know that song? Yeah. Jason Derulo sings, "Hot damn it, your booty like 2 planets. Go ahead, go ham sandwich. Whoa, I can't stand it, 'cause you know what to do with that big fat butt. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle." I'm going to assume that he isn't singing about men here. Let me repeat though, because this was one of the top songs of 2014, meaning that 8-year-old boys and girls who are trying to grow up and form opinions of themselves and others and how to treat other people are absorbing these messages. And quite honestly, this wasn't even that bad. I found songs so filthy that I had to go take a shower, and I couldn't bring myself to put it up here today. They were just that bad. And there are so many songs like this one. The point is, females are so often only there to be a sex object or to be something for someone else's pleasure. And research from 2013 shows that females are far more likely than males to be depicted wearing sexy attire, to expose skin, to have a thin body, and to be referenced as attractive or desirous. In fact, we see women's bodies objectified so frequently that we just kind of accept that women's bodies are objects that can be used to sell products. And the way that some media and some advertising treats females is unacceptable. It is so frustrating and unfair. And I'm sick and tired of watching movies and listening to music where the female is only there for her butt. Females deserve better representation. I may be a girl, but I am still deserving of respect. We are more than bodies, and our brains, our sense of humor, and who we are should not be so consistently disregarded. I don't want to be the sidekick who's only there for what she can provide sexually. I want to be the hero. And I want girls to know that they can be more than objects, that they too can have their own story. But in order for this to happen, we need role models. We need character diversity. When we limit girls like this, we don't gain anything but money. And I don't think that that's a very acceptable excuse, because we are losing so much more. Here's the thing. When girls believe in their self-worth, the world wins. When I started liking who I was as a person, all of a sudden, I had spare time to go create self-confidence empowerment workshops and to write speeches and to work on a book, and I had so much more time to make the world a better place. Prior to that, I had been restricted and limited by the way that I thought about myself. And I was sitting in an English class at the beginning of this year, and we did a unit on media literacy, which was really cool. And at one point, one of the students in my class said something along the lines of, well, obviously, the media is just giving us what we want. And it tripped me up for a second as I thought, I guess the people in charge of the media do a lot of research and they spend money on that, so maybe this is what the media is, maybe the media is giving us what we want. And then I realized, no, that is not the case whatsoever. I have given far too many workshops and spoken to far too many people about this issue to just accept that. It seems like pretty much everyone that I meet is in agreement that we need better media representation. And so I have an idea, because it appears that those who are in charge of our media are under the impression that they're simply giving us what we want. So as a response, I have created a change.org petition that outlines exactly the kind of media that we want. If you believe that we need gender, body, character, or any other kinds of diversity represented in our media, go onto change.org/p/diverse media and sign this petition. I am hoping to get thousands of signatures on this petition, so that way we have legitimate proof that this is the kind of media that we, boys and girls, children and adults, parents and students alike, want. I want you to picture a new hypothetical situation. The girl turns 19 years old, and when she watches TV, she sees women telling their own stories. When she goes on her social media, she sees women of all body shapes being appreciated and loved. And when she watches movies, she sees strong, badass role models instead of objects. She believes in her self-worth, and she goes on to accomplish her 6-year-old dream of becoming a female astronaut. This hypothetical situation is, sadly, for the most part, a hypothetical situation. And honestly, that kind of sucks. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be just a hypothetical situation. Eleanor Roosevelt once said, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." And I believe in the beauty of these dreams. But I need your help. If you agreed with me on anything that I'm saying, thank you. I am so flattered. But it doesn't change the fact that those in charge of the media don't know, which is why it is so imperative that you speak up. Because if you don't speak up, women and men are just going to continue to be represented the same way that we have been for so many years. And things aren't going to get better, and that hypothetical situation that really is actually reality is going to continue to be a reality. So please, join with me and speak up about the kind of representation you want. And share it as well. Once again, it is change.org/p/diverse media. Your voice or your silence, you get to choose, really does make a difference. Thank you.